Hi, it's Kozue. I always stamp my nails like this, but I get a lot of comments saying stamping is really hard. So today I made this video for you. I'm going to share some tips for nail stamping. For nail stamping, here's what you need. First, a stamping plate. Without a plate, you absolutely can't stamp. You can make a simple plate yourself, but honestly, buying one is much faster. Kandu, Daiso, and Seria used to sell stamping plates, but lately it feels like they're only selling off the remaining stock. It doesn't look like they're releasing new ones anymore. Overseas shopping sites sell tons of stamping plates in all kinds of designs. Next, you need a stamper. This one is silicone. A rectangular stamper like this is super useful when you want to stamp across the whole nail. There are round ones, big ones, small ones, lots of different types. And then you need a scraper. This one came as a freebie when I bought a stamping plate ages ago. But the thickness and the firmness are perfect, so I've been using it ever since. If you don't have one of these, a credit card works too. This isn't actually a credit card, even though it says Visa here. People always worry, so I'm covering the numbers. But it's totally fine even if they show. It's just a prepaid card. And this plastic texture scrapes the best. And then polish. This one is a stamping polish. It's very thick and highly pigmented. But you don't need stamping polish to stamp. You can stamp with a regular polish too. This one is from Daiso. I don't think they'll sell it anymore. If you're starting nail stamping, I recommend white first. White works with any color and you'll use it the most. Plus, white polishes usually have strong pigmentation, so white is the best to begin with. For your first nail stamping try, definitely use white. Even a 100 yen polish works. It doesn't have to be stamping polish and it still shows up pretty well. At the 100 yen shop, you might find these peel-off polishes. These are a big no. They don't work at all for stamping. So yes, 100 yen polish is fine, just make sure it's not peel-off. When you buy a stamping plate, it comes with a blue or clear protective film. Make sure to peel this off before using it. When you peel it, start from an edge with no design. Just lift the corner and pull it off like this. These are all the stampers I own. I didn't realize I had this many, over 20. But you definitely don't need this many. My very first stamper was this one, a stamper from Kozue. It transfers really well, but when you stamp onto the nail, you can't see your nail at all. So in that sense, it's a bit hard to use. Clear stampers are definitely the easiest to use. When it's fully transparent like this, it's super user-friendly. This stamper might still be available at Kozue. If you just want to try nail stamping, the price is great, so I do recommend it. But the downside is, you can't see your nail at all when stamping. This type is the easiest to use. You can see everything clearly and the silicone head is super soft. So even if you press down firmly, it transfers beautifully. And this one, I bought by mistake. I thought the glitter inside was cute, but the glitter actually blocks the view and messes up the transfer. So please don't buy this type. I bought 2 of them, totally an unnecessary purchase. This one is from Seria and I really recommend it. But when you press it across the whole nail, the silicone is a bit firm, so full nail stamping can be tricky. If you press too hard, the base polish can get damaged. For small, partial designs, it works great, but for full nail stamping, I wouldn't really recommend it. I also have this big round stamper, but again, it's a bit firm. If you press it down on polish that isn't fully dry, it can squash the design and even damage the base color. So I still recommend a rectangular stamper. Most rectangular stampers, no matter the brand, have nice soft silicone, which makes stamping much easier. When you buy a stamper, there's one thing I really want you to do. lightly buff the surface with a sponge. A makeup sponge like this works perfectly. Just a gentle rub is enough. If you scrub too hard, the surface becomes cloudy, like this. This cloudy one is a stamper I rubbed with a melamine sponge. Back then, I thought melamine would prep the stamper better, so I scrubbed it really hard, and it turned completely cloudy. Can you see the difference? This one was rubbed with a melamine sponge, cloudy, and this one was rubbed with a makeup sponge, still clear. Even though it's a clear stamper, once it gets cloudy like this, you can't really see your nail when you stamp. You have to bring it super close to the nail to see anything. So try rubbing it just lightly with a makeup sponge, enough to keep this level of clarity. Be careful not to over-scrub. Why does rubbing with a sponge make the stamper pick up better? Honestly, I don't fully know either, but let me share my theory. Silicone ages over time, right? Old silicone gets kind of sticky and tacky. So by lightly rubbing the surface with a sponge, I think we're artificially creating a tiny bit of that aging. When silicone ages, it gets more grip, and that grip might be what helps the stamper pick up the design better. That's just my personal theory though. I use a silicone wrap from a 100 yen shop like this, and I place the stamping plate on top. With this setup, I can scrape using just one hand. A non-slip silicone mat is really handy. When you stamp, the placement of your stamper and scraper really matters too. For example, scrape with your right hand and pick up with your left. Or scrape with your right and pick up with your right. Or scrape with your left and transfer with your right. There are lots of ways. I scrape with my right hand and pick up with my left. Once you decide your stamping routine, place the stamper on the left side. If you put it on the silicone mat, it sticks a bit and it's harder to grab quickly, so keep it off the mat. Same for the scraper. If you scrape with your right hand, keep the scraper on the right side. And again, not on the silicone mat, because it's harder to pick up first. For beginners, fine and detailed patterns like this are much easier to stamp. Designs with large filled-in areas, where you have to cover a big space with polish, tend to fail more often. I'm using this plate for the first time today, so let me test it. And this polish is from Daiso. Put plenty of polish on the plate. You don't have to cover the whole design with polish. When you scrape, the extra polish spreads and fills the pattern anyway. And if you scrape with a lot of pressure... Oh? It picked up perfectly. I was actually trying to make it fail, but it turned out great. With patterns like this, you usually scrape off too much polish and the design doesn't pick up well. That's what normally happens. But this time, it picked up beautifully. I wasn't expecting that at all. For cleaning the stamper, I use washi tape like this. People overseas often use a lint roller, but I just press the stamper onto the tape to lift off the polish. I scraped like this earlier, and can you see this part? There's a polish right here. If there's a polish on one side of the scraper, scraping with that side can affect the design. So when I scrape, I always use a clean side, the side without any polish on it. I wanted to show you a failed pickup earlier, so let's see if I can fail this time. So when you scrape with too much force like this, oh, it picked up beautifully again. When you scrape with more force than you need, the polish in the center of the design usually gets gouged out. That's the typical failure. You lose the middle part of the pattern. But again, it picked up perfectly. Now I'll try scraping lightly instead. When the pressure is too soft, you often get leftover polish like this. It doesn't clear out cleanly, but honestly, this is totally usable. It still looks good enough to stamp. The most common stamping mistake is pressing too hard when you pick up the design. A lot of people push the stamper down with full force. Another very common mistake is to waiting too long after scraping. If you don't pick up immediately, the polish starts to dry, and when you panic and press the stamper hard after a delay, it won't pick up, just like this. The most important thing is to pick up immediately after scraping. Right after you scrape, roll the stamper gently. Just a soft motion like this. You should never press hard when picking up the design. I used to do that too. When I first started stamping, I pushed the stamper down really hard like this. Of course, it didn't pick up at all. And the more I panicked, the harder I pressed, which made it even worse. Pressing hard will never pick up the design. Use about 1/10 of the pressure you think you need. Just hold the stamper lightly with your thumb and index finger and roll it gently like this. Rolling while pressing hard is also a no-go. If you roll and press at the same time, that will ruin the pickup. Aim for a 45-degree angle when you scrape. A slightly sharper angle is okay, but if the scraper stands up too much, it won't scrape cleanly. So aim for about 45 degrees and scrape only once. Scrape at 45 degrees, pick up immediately, and roll the stamper quickly. Also, make sure no fan, circulator, or air conditioner breeze is hitting your workspace. If airflow touches the plate, the polish dries instantly after scraping. And even if you pick up fast, it's already dry, so the stamper won't pick it up. So make sure no wind is hitting your workspace. And when you practice, try changing different conditions. For example, adjust your scraping speed. Faster usually works better, but you can experiment. You can also change the scraping direction. Some people find it hard to scrape from the upper left to the lower right, so they switch directions. Some people find scraping top to bottom is the easiest, but for others, scraping bottom to top might feel better. It really depends on the person. Some people find it easier to scrape with the left hand and pick up with the right. Others scrape with the right hand and also pick up with the right. But if you want speed, my recommendation is scrape with the right hand, pick up with your left. Switching hands takes time, so keep both tools ready. Hold the scraper in one hand and the stamper in the other. That way, you're ready in position and it saves a lot of time. After you apply the polish to the plate, you don't have to rush. I always like to close the bottle properly, tighten the cap like this. And even after doing that, you can still scrape and it should work just fine. Okay, let's try it. Okay, no problem. Even if you leave the polish on the plate for a moment, it's fine. As long as you scrape and then pick up quickly, it will come out like this. The polish sitting on the plate has plenty of volume, so it doesn't dry that fast, so you can take your time there. But once you scrape, the layer becomes super thin and it dries instantly. That's why you must roll and pick up right away. But honestly, the number one trick is practice. When I first started, I couldn't pick up anything at all. I practiced so much I almost emptied an entire bottle of polish. My hands were completely white and I really wondered if I would ever get it. But by the time I finished that bottle, I finally started to understand the technique. The key I was missing was the light rolling. Once I learned to roll gently, everything started working almost every time. When stamping onto the nail, roll the stamper onto the nail. Okay, let's actually stamp it on the nail. It's a bit messy with polish on the plate, but let's see if it still works. For polish on the skin, you can remove it with washi tape like this, or just wash your hands. If you go about your normal day, most of the polish on your skin will naturally come off on its own. It takes a little time though. And that's it. This was my video for nail stamping beginners. I really hope it helps you. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye!